The Diesel Controller. It was a quiet day at the Vicarstown diesel sheds. Dennis was all alone. Suddenly, Sir Tuppenhat's car pulled up. Dennis was very surprised to see Lady Hat. "Sir Tuppen is sick," she announced grandly. "He has lost his voice." Dennis was worried. "I hope he finds it soon," he hooted. "Sir Tuppen has given me lots of jobs," Lady Hat continued. "Listen very carefully. Gordon is to collect cars of china from Nafford and take them to Nafford Harbor. He must pull the cars very slowly." "Slow cars," hooted Dennis. "James is to shun freight cars in the coal yard. He must be as busy as a bee." "Busy bee," oiled Dennis carefully. "And Toby is to take visitors from Mayfleet to the Kelpstorp Castle. He must go as fast as Gordon's Express." "Gordon's Express," oiled Dennis. "You're in charge now, Dennis," said Lady Hat, and she left. Just then, Thomas popped in from his morning's work. "I'm controller for the day," hooted Dennis proudly. "Do you need any help?" Thomas asked his friend. "Controllers don't need help," oiled Dennis, and off he rode. Dennis found Gordon first. "Sir Tuppenhat has lost his voice," oiled Dennis, "so I am controller until he finds it." Gordon was surprised. Dennis tried hard to remember what Lady Hat had said. "You must pull very slow cars," he hooted proudly. "Oh, the indignity!" huffed Gordon. Dennis had a lot to do, and a lot to remember. Next, Dennis found James at a washdown. "James, you must be a busy bee," he hooted. James gasped. "Do you mean I have to be painted yellow and black?" he whistled weakly. "Yes, James," Dennis said sternly. "But why?" snorted James. Dennis tried to hoot boomingly. "Because I am controller!" And then Dennis clattered off. Next, Dennis found Toby. "Toby, you must pull Gordon's Express," he told him. "Why?" Toby asked. He was very puzzled. "That's your job," hooted Dennis boomingly. Dennis felt very important. Later, Dennis decided that it was time to check on his engines. He knew that's what Sir Tuppenhat would do. Children were waiting on the bridge. Dennis tooted hello, but the children were looking down at the track. Gordon was puffing very slowly down the line. The children began to laugh. "Look at Gordon!" they cried. "What a slow poke!" Then James stopped at a signal. The children laughed again. "Who is that giant stripy bee?" they called. Finally, Toby huffed in with the heavy express. He was very tired. Gordon, James, and Toby heard the children laughing, and they saw Dennis watching. Gordon called out to Dennis. "I am supposed to be the fastest engine on Sodor, not the slowest," he huffed. "I'm supposed to be the reddest engine," moaned James. "Now no one knows who I am." "I'm only a steam tram," Toby puffed. "The express is too heavy for me to pull." Dennis was worried. He knew he had made lots of mistakes. Then Thomas puffed up. "What's wrong, Dennis?" he asked his friend. "Please help me, Thomas. I can't remember what Lady had told me. All the engines are doing the wrong jobs." Thomas thought for a moment. "You must go back over your tracks," he puffed. "You might see things that will help you remember." Dennis thought that was a very good idea. Thomas and Dennis pulled into Knackford Station. Going and slow cars, wailed Dennis. Suddenly, Dennis saw crates of china waiting on the platform. That's it, Dennis cried. Gordon is to take the china to Knackford Harbor. He must pull his cars very slowly. Dennis and Thomas pulled into the coal yards. James must be a busy bee, Dennis said slowly. There are lots of grumbling coal cars waiting to be shunted. That's it! James is to shunt lots of coal cars, so he must be as busy as a bee. Finally, Dennis and Thomas arrived at Mayfleet Station. Toby must pull Gordon's Express, wailed Dennis. Suddenly, Dennis saw a group of visitors waiting on the platform. That's it! Dennis cried. Toby is to take visitors to the Capstorp Castle. He has to go as fast as Gordon's Express. Well done, Thomas puffed happily. By the end of the day, all of the engines were doing the right jobs. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. You have done very well, Dennis, he boomed. I'm very pleased. And I'm very pleased that you found your voice, Dennis hooted happily. Sir Topham Hatt smiled. And I hope you never lose it again, Dennis added.